So joining us now is Adrienne Bell. She is from Brand New Congress. And you might remember Adrienne, she ran as a candidate endorsed by Brand New Congress and Just Democrats all the way back in 2018. She was one of the originals. And now she's backing candidates like Amy Vilela in Nevada, who she ran with. So Adrienne, great to have you back.
Great to be back. Thank you so much for having me on tonight. I'm excited because Amy's going to win.
All right, I love it. So first of all, tell us a little bit about that race and why Brand New Congress got involved.
Well, as you mentioned, Amy was one of the original Brand New Congress candidates back in 2017 for the 2018 midterm. And we have been with Amy since day one. Amy is a true warrior. And when she says in her video that, we don't have time to be wasting and we deserve more and the status quo is not enough. Well, Amy speaks for a lot of us. I am in Texas, and a win for Amy in Nevada is also a win for us progressives in Texas, because Amy would represent all of us. And so we at Brand New Congress, we're so excited to be continuing to support Amy. Amy is my sister in politics, and I am just so excited that the night is here and we get to see Amy win.
From your mouth to God's ears. So a lot of money's been spent on this race. So it's clear that they view Amy to be a threat. If they didn't view her to be a threat, they wouldn't have brought in all the dark money guys, the Republicans, everybody else to pile on top of her. So who is on the other side? I mean, I don't mean just the incumbent or the person she's running against, but I mean, who are the PACs on the other side? Who are the bad guys here?
Well, we know that the elephant in the room for progressives this year has been dark money. It's been APAC, it's been DMFI, it's been the cryptocurrency billionaires, and they have spent millions and millions of dollars against our progressives. In North Carolina, they spent millions against Nita Lum and Erica Smith. They spent millions against Jessica Cisneros here in Texas. And in Nevada, with Opportunity for All, they had recently spent like $22,000 against Amy because they were supporting Amy's opponent. And so the millions of dollars that have been poured in by this dark money, it is going against our progressives and trying to stop the movement and trying to stop the message. And progressives have to do what we always do, and that's continue to fight and continue to push back.
So Adrienne, when we last talked, I was on the board of Just Democrats, and I had helped form that organization, and they had endorsed you. But you guys all had started as Brand New Congress, and now you're the executive director of Brand New Congress. So help the folks at home understand what's the difference between Brand New Congress and Just Democrats.
Well, we are both a part of the progressive movement. We're both organizations are movement leaders. And just like Democracy for America or Working Family Parties or Our Revolution, we're all in this together as progressive organization to endorse and advocate for, help support, help elect progressives to represent us on the federal level. And so we are part of the movement, and we're part of the conversation.
So I want to make sure that I'm updated on it, everybody's updated on it, because I remember way in the beginning, this is not today at all, right? But Zach Exley was one of the founders of Brand New Congress, and his vision was, let's run 435 candidates, just replace all of Congress, right? All of the House in particular. And that means running progressives in Republican primaries. So now that was, wow, 6 years ago now. So are you guys doing that at all anymore or no?
Well, the landscape has changed. Back in 2017, we were trying to get progressives to run. Fortunately, now progressives are running. So we've been running progressives in areas, and not necessarily just against Republicans, but in areas where progressives, we have good progressive candidates that are running, such as Charles Booker running in Kentucky. We have Angelica Duenas, who's moving on to the general in California 29. And so so it's a good problem to have. We've got progressives running against progressives. And we now have the landscape where progressives are running, and we can branch out and not just focus on running against other Democrats or running against Republicans, but in getting together the best progressives that we can get so that we can move policy and have policy that really supports the American working people.
All right, sounds good. I want to open it up for David and Francesca too.
Well, Adrienne, I guess my question is, I mean, we've seen, look, there's so many progressive issues that are out there. And I know, some progressive candidates have honed in on income inequality, others on raising the minimum wage. Is there a particular progressive policy that in your view has done better than others in terms of the campaign so far?
Wow. When we look at the progressive issues that we have been fighting for and continue to talk about, Medicare for all, for one, that just gets stalled, and also the Green New Deal that has not made much movement. We have a city today that has over 100,000 residents without water. And for a city to be without water in a time when we have heat waves that are happening all due to climate change, I don't know that we have any policy that has really made much movement. The Build Back Better America bill got changed so much from its original status that it just hasn't made the impact that we needed to build our infrastructure, to make sure that we have those good paying jobs, that we end student loan debt. There's just so many policies that need to be changed, and we got so many people in Congress who are doing nothing about it. That's why we need a Charles Booker on the Senate, because we need new senators who really have life experiences that will make an impact and make a difference.
It's interesting that you say Medicare for all, because, Francesca, we've seen the polling that actually cuts through, never mind Democratic voters, progressive voters, but actually Republican voters, when it's explained what it is, has huge appeal and a huge crossover appeal.
Yeah, and especially Amy Vilela's personal story, I think, and the fact that she's been in the public eye for so long, for a while now, and given since she ran before until now, we had a pandemic, and if we had universal health care, so many lives would have been saved. So I think, and I'm hoping for these results. But I just wanted to ask you maybe more about Titus and what her record has been and how she's going after attacking Amy.
Well, our position in supporting our candidates, we support our candidates. And our conversation is all about Amy. It's all about what Amy's going to do. Amy has the lived experience of having a daughter pass away because of lack of health insurance or the need for Medicare for all. So when you go through those type of experiences, your pain can become deliverance for someone else. And so our position is not to talk about the person that Amy is going to be, but it's to talk about Amy and to talk about the dark money that's being poured into races that are not necessarily saying, hey, don't vote for this person, or but trying to make our people look like they're not even good Democrats and they're not anyone that someone wants to support. And so my conversation will always be for our candidates, because that's who we talk about, Amy Vilela.
All right, last question, Adrienne, real quick. So you mentioned Charles Booker a couple of times. He had that really gutsy ad, the noose ad. What was your thoughts on that?
I thought that was powerful, to actually film a video where I'm a Black woman, and to put a noose around my neck. I just cannot imagine. That brought chills to me, that he would actually produce something so powerful, because it touches you in an intimate way. Of just imagining my ancestors, nooses were hung around their neck, and just to think about that experience that they went through, and he put that before us in such a raw way. I think it just endeared me more to Charles Booker and what he's going to do for America when he joins the Senate.
All right, Adrienne Bell, we used to call her the Liberty Bell when she was running for Congress. So Liberty Bell, it's great to have you back. And thank you for your efforts in supporting Amy and the other candidates that Brand New Congress is pushing forward, all progressives. Thank you. Thanks for watching The Young Turks. We really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.